chat where you're joining us from this evening. We love to see where our eSpelman participants are coming from. We have people across the Atlanta metro area, Charlotte, North Carolina. But go ahead and let us know where you're joining us from. Hi, Mia she didn't say, and then Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly from Mobile, Alabama. Hi, Lene. Chicago. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're keeping warm there. Kayla, thank you, Kayla, for joining us from Houston, Texas. Good evening. Good evening. Ramona, welcome, Ramona from Chicago. I think we were chatting earlier via email. I think that was you, but hello, Ramona. Amber, hello, Amber from New Jersey. Jillian with a big wave. Hello, she's joining from St. Louis. Mia, hi Mia from Dublin, Georgia. Okay, we have Mila from Memphis, Tennessee. We're going to give folks until 7:03 and then we'll get started. Amy, welcome, welcome from New Jersey. Stay warm. I could say stay warm to everyone at this point. We have a little cold front coming through. Hello, Alexa. Alexa's joining from Orlando. And Dolores, hello from the ATL. A little housekeeping. We will ask everyone to stay muted until the end of the session. We will have a Q&A session for you all at the end, so please remain muted. Greetings, greetings, Dolores from ATL, Kiera from Apex, North Carolina, Dakota. Hello, Dakota from Detroit, Michigan. Stay warm. Rachel is joining us from Arlington, Virginia. Another Rachel. She says, hey, everyone, Atlanta, by way of Massachusetts. Tara, welcome from all the way from California. So the sun still may be out over there. Amita Sims, greetings from Tennessee. Tiffany, California. Azaya from San Antonio. Okay. We have you all from the east to the west and Midwest. Tanika, thank you for joining. Indiana by way of Chicago. Simone, Jones Creek, Georgia, right up the street. Taylor, Durham, North Carolina. Shannon, welcome from Atlanta. Sarah, Spelman alum, welcome, welcome. All right, so keep the comments in the chat going. We love to see where you all are coming from. For the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and get started for the night. So good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure and huge honor to present Inside Beauty, exploring cosmetic science through lifelong learning in cosmetics. My name is LaChun Tiller, and I serve as the eSpelman online program manager for marketing and enrollment here at Spelman College. And I also will serve as your host for tonight's session. To kick things off, let's welcome the eSpelman AVP for Digital Learning Initiatives, Dr. Malika Ingram.
Hi, welcome everyone. Dr. Malika Ingram here. I'd like to take a few minutes to thank you for joining us this evening, and for those on the West Coast, late afternoon for you. We're very excited about tonight's panelists and the discussion that'll take place. I'll review the agenda and then I'll turn it back to LaChun, our hostess, to get things kicked off after an icebreaker. So welcome. We'll talk about what is cosmetic science this evening. So learn about the ins and outs. Talk about careers in cosmetic science. We have a presentation and a panel discussion of what are the top careers in this field, in this industry. Then talk a little bit about how to enhance your credentials in this space. We'll close out with LaChun talking more about eSpelman and our program offerings and how you can take advantage of these courses and get involved in eSpelman. So before we start the program, I'd like for everyone to just take a few minutes to put in the chat, what's your go-to skincare or cosmetic product? I have a few items. that I use. Okay. All right. It's good to see we have some natural, some brands that I haven't heard of. So, okay. All right, LaChun, I will turn the mic back over to you and start the rest of the session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ingram. I just love to hear from our participants. Take notes on what you're using so I can add it to my own beauty bag. All right, so moving along, we are going to kick it off with our very first presenter. This person is a legend on campus and in the virtual space for eSpelman. She's in the cosmetic science community, busy and deep. So it's an honor to welcome Dr. Leyte Winfield.
All right, here we go. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation, LaShawn and eSpelman team. I'm excited to be joined here today with three of my students from eSpelman who not only joined me online, but they've had an opportunity to be on ground with me as well. And they will talk a lot about how they leverage their eSpelman experience in their current careers. But before they come, I've been asked to define beauty, and that is the topic of this conversation, defining beauty. So we will start with defining cosmetic science. As you know, when individuals hear the word or the term cosmetic science, they immediately think about decorative cosmetics, but cosmetics are a part of all of our personal care and well-being. So from our hygiene measures, both feminine hygiene, daily hygiene, like taking a shower, brushing your teeth, deodorant, all of those fall up under the cosmetic science umbrella, along with hair care, skin care, and of course, color cosmetics. So, what are cosmetics? These are packaged consumer goods that enhance and improve the appearance, hygiene, and overall well being of an individual. So, as I mentioned previously, this is often associated with beautification or things you do to enhance your beauty, but it's also a part of well being and personal care. You also have fragrance under the cosmetic umbrella, although oftentimes that gets grouped with food and flavors, but we see them in both spaces. I wanted to point out that in the cosmetic aisle, when you're looking at your sunscreens, your acne care product, some of your anti-wrinkle product, those are actually regulated by the FDA as over-the-counter drugs. Cosmetics are things that give you temporary improvement of your overall well-being. And anything that's considered as an entity that is used to treat, heal, remove, cure, will be treated as an over-the-counter drug. They usually have an active ingredient in that product that has additional layer of regulation at the FDA. And I have a more exhaustive list. At the bottom of this list, you'll see hair dyes and fragrances. Hair dyes are regulated outside of your cosmetic products, or they have an additional layer of regulation, I should say. And fragrances are a part of this over the counter conversation because of the allergens that are often associated with them. So, cosmetics, again, are something you use to improve your appearance, your well being, and just inform how you live your everyday life. And so, cosmetic science is an interdisciplinary field focused on research, formulation, product development, and of cosmetics as well as personal care items. So, don't go to Slido because I did not open it, so I don't want to take any time. But if we can just get a number in your head if you want to put that in the chat for me. I just want to see where you are in terms of understanding what makes up your personal care or beauty products. So think about the items that you use every day, what you're using to clean your teeth, wash your face, take a shower. If you use deodorant, I know there's a big movement away from deodorants and antiperspirants. If you do the color makeup, how you care for your skin, just think about all of those items and give me a percentage of the products that you use that are comprised of chemicals. I'll take a quick 1 second. LaChun, if you can watch the chat for me and help me with that and see if we're getting responses and shout out a few for me as you see them.
Absolutely. The chat is very active tonight. We love active participants, but we have 100% as the dominant number. I have a 90% and a 99.99. We have a 25%, but mostly 100%. Someone said 50-50, 80%, but mostly 100%. We have 115%.
Oh, that makes my little chemistry heart so happy to hear 100%. And the 100% is absolutely correct. And we're going to talk a little bit about why that is. So if we take you back to general chemistry, everything you touch, smell, feel, hear is composed of matter. And matter is composed of atoms, right? And so just in a basic um, definition of bonds, we abbreviate this to bonds, but when we talk about bonds, we really are referring to chemical bonds. So anytime you have two atoms coming together to form a bond, then you're going to have a chemical. So bonded atoms, again, are chemicals. This is kind of your two-dimensional model of two atoms here. You have sharing their electrons in the middle, and so that is a chemical bond. Therefore, you have a chemical. These are three of my favorite chemicals. Water, which I do not drink enough of every day, composed of oxygen and hydrogen atoms. Then, of course, oxygen, which I need to live. We all need this to live. This is diatomic oxygen, is what we breathe, not the elemental oxygen. It has two oxygens bonded together. And then sugar, of course. I mean, it just makes me so happy, but I need to let it go. And so that is the structure. You can see it's very complex, a lot of carbons, oxygens, and hydrogens in this molecule. So everything that we come into contact with is a chemical. And if you look on your label, on your cosmetics, the first thing you'll see is aqua, which is water. It is the largest component of most of our cosmetics. Of course, as we get into butters and soaps and things of that nature, you have a little bit less water, but for the most part, the majority of your cosmetic formulation is going to be water. So as we think about chemicals, I know there are a lot of concerns about their safety. There's a lot of concerns about their efficacy. There's a lot of concern about sustainability and things that impact the environment. And so we like to think of chemicals as not bad or good. They're either necessary or unnecessary. So as we formulate products, as we develop products and think about how to improve the function of products, we want to make sure that we're only putting in that product what is necessary for it to function and what is necessary for you to enjoy using it. So some of the extra additives come into play when we think about the sensorial properties or how it feels when I'm putting that gel on my hair or that cream on my face. If it's too greasy, some people don't like that. If it's not greasy enough, some people don't like that. There are people who like a lot of bubbles and suds. Some people don't like bubbles and suds. And so we add other things in to give you the effect that consumers expect to see when they use the product. So sources of chemicals, they can be mineral, and this is where you get like your sodium chloride, which is table salt, potassium, sodium, other things of that nature. They could be animal based. So a lot of our what we know about medicines and things that we use in the lab come from chemicals we've been able to extract from animals. It could be plant based. There was a plant there, so we're going to pretend like that picture is still there. Petroleum based, of course, we think about our beeswax and of course a petroleum jelly. All of that comes from the earth. So all four of these at the bottom are natural sources of products. These are things that come from the earth. Often when people talk about natural, they're intending that to mean plant-based. But in the scientific community, when you say natural, we're thinking about things that are not lab made. So synthetic things are things that are made in the lab. And I use the term lab made because there are other things that we get out of the lab that are not necessarily synthetic. They might be biofermented. They may be, now we're doing 3D printing of different materials. And so there are other ways you can generate products from the laboratory. So I want to stay on this whole natural versus synthetic for just a moment. As I mentioned before, when people think of natural products and natural ingredients, they automatically go to what can I get out of a plant? And I just wanted to remind us here as we're broadening our vocabulary and we're thinking about how we want to enter these conversations, we need to be able to say what it is exactly we don't want. And so getting you out of the mindset of saying, I don't want chemicals versus I don't want that chemicals, right? That particular chemical is where we need to be. But the first, the words that you see at the top or the plants that you see at the top, those are things that actually come from plants. These things are not necessary for me to put in any of my skincare products, right? You know, and you can read that list and you can assume why, maybe why not. Now, cocaine, maybe I'm on a, well, I'm a little bit on the fence with that because we know that there are a lot of vasoconstricting properties in cocaine and what we know about Novocaine and lidocaine and other topical analgesics, what we know about oral gel, what we know about Visine, all of that came based off of the information that we learned about how cocaine functions in the body. So it is something that we like to mimic in the laboratory if we can remove the abusive properties associated with it and keep the actionable properties. So at the bottom, there are lists of the 7 most toxic drugs in the world. Botulinum toxin, that's something that people routinely get injected into their face and body, and it is the most toxic chemical known to man. We've just learned how to work with it safely. So I have this list here to say natural does not necessarily mean safe. So as we're talking about the safety of our cosmetics, we want to be able to say very specifically, I don't want this in my formulation. I don't want to have this effect in my formulation. If we can get away from using X, Y, and Z versus just saying, I don't want chemicals in my formulation. So here I'm just showing you that it didn't do correctly. So dioxin number 4 and sarin gas number 7 are lab made or man-made materials that fall in the 7 most toxic list, but they're the only 2 lab made materials that are in this top 7. So just wanted to point that out as well. The other thing about natural we have to consider is its impact on the environment. When we think about the availability, of course, availability drives costs. Then we have to purify whatever we get from that natural source. So there's some manipulation that needs to happen before we can sell it. But if you think about rose oil or any of our essential oils, rose oil is just one that I could use for an example. You have to have 60,000 roses in order to make 1 ounce of rose oil. So most most products, I should say, that contain rose oil are going to be on the expensive side, especially if it's a natural rose oil versus a synthetic rose oil. So all this to say that when we think about something being necessary or unnecessary, you need to really ask yourself, do I have to have that in my product? can I get away with not having that in my product? I know Miriam is here. I don't know how much she's going to talk about preservatives, but she does a lot of regulations in her daily job. So you can definitely ply her with questions related to that. But for us, we're thinking about when I'm going to be exposed to this chemical, how it impacts me depends on the amount of it I use, how often I use it, and the way I'm exposed to it. So if we go back to the Botox injections, it's the most toxic thing we know on this planet right now. Um, they have figured out a way to use that or expose you to that chemical in the right amount at the right amount of time so that it doesn't have the adverse effects. Now, they do tell you you can have permanent paralysis. That's true. You can even die from this. Well, that's true, but people have measured the risk against the benefit and they understand how much they can use, how often they can use it, and where they can use it to avoid some of those harmful effects. How am I doing on time, LaChun?
We have about 2 more minutes, 2 to 3 more minutes for your presentation.
Okay, so I think it's hard to define cosmetics without defining beauty, because oftentimes what we do in cosmetics is based on how we want to present ourselves to the world. We won't be able to go through all of these slides, but I just want to leave you this as food for thought. But how we perceive beauty is, what we see, what we hear, what we smell, and what we can feel. And so obviously cosmetics covers three out of the four. And with that, we're going to not define beauty. You know what you think beauty is. But I wanted to get to this one. This is a TED Talk that students in our first course on eSpelman actually watch. And it is a young lady who didn't have anything better to do and sent this picture out around the world and asked people to make her beautiful. And of course, it went viral because that's what happens in our culture today. The number of pictures that come in continue to grow, but this is just an overview of some of the pictures that she had come back. Some people gave her hair, some people took her hair away, some people made her darker, some people made her light, some people made her more modest, more futuristic. And all of this is a good way of pointing out some platitudes that I hold. There are some original platitudes that say that beauty are based on taste, and taste are set by a certain type of people. We're trying to broaden that conversation because we know that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and how you define that is based on who you are. But we also know beauty is based on our culture. It's based on where we're located in the world. So what happens to be beautiful in South America might not be the same in South Africa. It's based on our own personal values. It's based on our ethnicity, a large range of things that you can see. And a lot of that you can see actually in this representation of what people thought were beautiful for this particular young lady. I will stop there so that I don't go over time and see if there's one or two questions before you get into the panel.
Absolutely. Do we have any questions for Dr. Winfield? If so, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself, and we'll take one person for Dr. Winfield. Do we have any questions? Let me make sure that you all have the ability to unmute. There we go. If you cannot unmute yourself, go ahead and raise your hand and I'll acknowledge you. If there are no questions, I have one quick question for you, Dr.
Oh,
Winfield.
okay.
Did someone jump in?
No, that was me.
Okay. I have one question for you. How did you stumble upon the industry of cosmetic science?
Stumble is a great way to describe it, and I'm sure a lot of your panelists will share the same experience that I had. When I went to college, I knew I was going to major in chemistry, And I knew I wanted to major in chemistry because I thought I was going to spend my life making lotion. I wanted to work for the Pond's Institute. And so I didn't know there was a such thing as cosmetic science, right? And so stumbling into like, how do you get from chemistry to make lotion has taken several years. I'm very old now, but I would say a couple generations um, for me to get there. So it was a intentional stumble, if you will, just using what I have access to now that I didn't have access to then is the internet. I remember, I think I was in grad school when I realized people really were going to use the internet to do stuff, right? But now we have the Google, as I say, just to mess with my son. I get on the Google and I try to figure out how do you make lotion? How do I learn to make lotion? And that's when I realized that there was a degree in cosmetic science. At the time, I think the only one in the country was at Farley Dickinson. And now we have maybe 5 graduate level programs in cosmetic science. Spelman is the second one at the undergraduate level, but there are 5 others that are at the graduate level. So once you get a graduate degree, and once you get an undergraduate degree, you can go out. So yeah, long response to that question, but yes, that's how I got here.
No, we absolutely appreciate these nuggets. That's what we're here for tonight. This info session, participants, is all about exposure and a little snippet of cosmetic science to see if this may spark an interest in what you have already going on. So, did we learn something from Dr. Winfield? Can we, as they say, clock it? Can we snap it? Drop a heart in the chat for Dr. Winfield to show her some love tonight. We thank you, Dr. Winfield. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you. And we are going to keep the party going for tonight so that you all can continue to pick up a few more little nuggets. So, next up, we have on the schedule is cosmetic science industry professional and eSpelman learner, India Butts. Welcome, India. You're good to go. We can see your screen. We just need to make sure that your mic is good to go. Oh, we can't hear you. Look at all the love in the chat as India is preparing. Thank you, Dr. Winfield. Love it, love it, love it. So much love in the chat. All right, India, let me see if I can unmute you. If not, I'm going to have our next presenter prepare. Let's try one more thing for you, India.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Perfect. There we go. Technology. As Dr. Winfield said, this internet. Take it away. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is India Butts, and science has always been a part of my life. I went to George Washington Carver Elementary School, where we studied the soybean. In middle school, I was a part of the aerospace program, where we would go on a mission at the end of the year, prepare to go to space. When I was in high school, I participated in the Morehouse School of Medicine Summer Youth Mentorship Program, where we would work in different areas of the hospital. It was pretty fun. And my educational started off as being a pediatric nurse, but once I got to my externship, I realized it wasn't for me. I later went to Point University, and then my career started off in quality control with a lot of my analytical skills. From there, I landed a job at Bronner Brothers and worked my way up from a quality control tech to a research and development quality manager, where I am now. I did take a 3-year break, and I worked at House of Cheatham for 3 years, where I was the assistant R&D manager, and I participated in the glycolic acid study for 2 years. Hi, my name is India Butts, and I'm currently a cosmetic chemist at Bronner Brothers Manufacturing Company, and I help formulate argan and coconut supergrow grease, which is one of our top 20 selling items. In this video, I'm pretty much just sharing like what I would do on an everyday basis, make formulas, test formulas on different mannequins' hair, or we test on real people's hair tresses. This is a picture of my team that I work with for the glycolic acid study. So I'm also an author. I have a children's activity book, and I also wrote a book called Hattie the Hair Chemist, and it was at Printers Row Lit Fest in Chicago and at the London Book Fair. I'm coming out with another book. It's adjacent to Hattie the Hair Chemist, From the Lab to the Runway. That'll be out sometime this year. So I want to dive a little bit more into Hattie the Hair Chemist. This is my reason why and my support system. I want to be a great mom and an excellent role model to them. And here's a little video I wanted to share.
Mommy, they're picking on me.
So eSpelman, the Spelman impact, going to eSpelman kind of reignited my purpose. I joined the support system of Black women in STEM, and it was a personal healing for me overcoming imposter syndrome. So these are just pictures of some things that I've done since I've been at Spelman, whether it was the Lab Intense. I've been a part of the Women's Leadership Panel, and this is all of us this past year at the Black STEMness or 2025. Pretty much at eSpelman, you pretty much make the most out of the program. Be curious, ask questions, engage with the material, apply what you learn directly in your work, and you'll be able to build a network of professional peers and professionals. If you want to learn more about me, you can follow me or go to my website, missindiabutts.com. I also do formulation and regulatory. You can follow me. You can go to my website at I Form You and Comply. And there's also an article on me for happy.com. It's in a personal care magazine that talks about my book release, which I'll go into later on during the panel discussion. So I was trying to run through my presentation. But if you have any questions for me, the end.
India. Clock it again, ladies. Clock it again. You received so much love in the chat. So we thank you for your presentation and sharing with us. So far, we've learned from Dr. Winfield, be specific. Be specific in what you want versus just not wanting chemicals. Decide what chemicals you do want and what chemicals you don't want. Natural materials are not always the enemy, and they're not always the best. And then we learned from India about Hattie, the hair chemist, and her journey. So much tonight. So we're going to move right along in our next panelist, which is also a cosmetic science industry professional, Miriam Makonnen. Take it away. While Miriam is getting started, let me make sure. Okay, ask to unmute. So sorry. There you go.
Sorry, I was trying to say that
started,
too. Can you guys see my screen?
Absolutely.
Okay. Cool. So hi, this is my career journey. start off with my intro. So I'm Miriam Makonnen. I work in regulatory affairs and I work for LVMH, where I consult for the perfumes and cosmetics brands. Okay. So educational background. Obviously, I always loved chemistry. One of the biggest motivators for me to even pursue this field is my hair right here. It's always been a lot. And so trying to figure that out was the reason why I wanted to learn about science and cosmetic formulation. So we'll go through educational background. So I started at community college. I transferred to Temple University and I majored in biochem because of that genuine interest in formulation. But you make a career dive just because like the format of school. So for a little bit, I was trying to become a doctor. Realized when I was working at the fertility clinic that it really wasn't for me. And so that was like my junior year of college. So then I realized I needed to do something different. And I joined National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE for short. That I learned how to network, how to like do a pitch for myself, but also just like learning how to work within a group. And just the first time I ever interacted with like a group of Black engineers or scientists, and it was just such an empowering space. Later, I enrolled in the cosmetic chemistry program at Spelman, and I'll dive more into that in the next slide. So coming in and had to figure out what I was going to do. So I worked at GSK, which is a pharmaceutical company, the first job I had outside of college. I worked in biopharmaceuticals, but specifically the biggest thing was I worked in a bunch of different types of labs, whether it was small scale or large scale, just understanding that need to scale up for production. But there I gained a lot of research skills, a lot of project management and working with other groups, but also got involved with the ERGs again and did a lot of like communications and newsletters. At the time, it seemed silly, but it was very useful at the end of the day. I realized in the pandemic, it was time to pursue something different just because things were starting to get a little repetitive and I wanted to do something different. I was applying for jobs, but realized things weren't like clicking. So I needed to find a different way to get myself out there. So networked and I joined a lot of cosmetic chemistry affinity groups, that being NYSCC, CEW, yes. And then after that, I reached out for mentorship. I've met a lot of people on LinkedIn. One of them is in the chat right now, but yeah, just reaching out and finding people, like-minded people that could help me get myself through the industry. I also enrolled in Spelman's Cosmetic Science program. Specifically picked this program just because being able to reach out to Dr. Winfield and talk about the things that I wanted to do was very important to me, and just being in college prior to realizing that your director of your program is just as important as the program itself. And also, all the while, I got into Spelman's Cosmetic Science Symposium, gained product development and cosmetic formulation experience that was very helpful for my job. And now I'm a regulatory affairs specialist. Also, here's a picture of me in India in the lab from the Spelman Cosmetic Science Symposium. Okay, so regulatory affairs, what do I do? So I'm going to touch on it, but for the most part, Dr. Winfield kind of touched on it earlier. Cosmetics should not affect the structure or function of the skin, meaning it should not permanently change anything that you are using, whether it's a skincare, hair care, unless it's a professional product, and that's something completely different. So my role, I advise copywriting teams, marketing teams on product claims. I register products and packaging information to the US and Canada. I do competitor monitoring, trend reporting, and market analysis. So like updating our European counterparts of like what's popular within the US and Canada. Ensuring formulas are safe for consumers. So what Dr. Winfield touched on earlier, not all chemicals are bad, but within specific concentrations is what we need. This field is important to ensure products are safe for use. Also important to ensure that products can be imported and imported into the country, and ensuring that our brands are protected. And these are all the brands that I consult for. Also making sure marketing and branding and is communicating safe messaging as well. Okay, final tips and takeaways. Try things. I've had a lot of career changes within the years, but the only way you can figure out what you like and don't like is trying. And just like really think about like what you're interested in. Network. Talk to the people around you. They end up becoming the people you reach out to. Same with like mentorship. It opens up for doors for internships, opportunities, and just camaraderie, and just being able, India touched on this earlier, being able to talk to people within the field makes imposter syndrome a little less impostery. And consider the lifestyle that you want to live as well. If you want to be in a lab, be in a lab. If you don't want to be in a lab, don't be in a lab, but just think about these things when you're thinking about your career. And yeah, I think questions are at the end, but that is it.
Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you. Thank you. Again, participants, are you still here? Are we paying attention? Are we entertained? Are we learning tonight? That's all I want to know. Let's show a little love for Miriam in the chat. Miriam shared several nuggets. I saw a Temple University supporter in the chat, but the takeaway from Miriam tonight, don't be afraid to network. And also, don't be afraid to try something different. Okay, moving right along to our next cosmetic science industry professional, I would like to welcome to the stage Mika Smith. And let me make sure I can unmute you. There you go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome. You're good to go. Your screen is up.
Okay. Let me make sure I can scroll through this. There we go. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mika Smith again, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about shaping the future of beauty through lifelong learning. And I did this by joining and going to the program, the eSpelman Cosmetic Science certificate program at Spelman. And I tell you guys, it was an awesome experience for me. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Um, it has just opened up so many more doors and taught me a lot. And so I'm a little bit different. I work with the chemists. I actually evaluate products. So I just make it simple. I get to play with what they make. And so I love what I do because not only do I get to play with it, I get to play with it on real people. So my concern is always how good it is. So this slide just shows a little bit about myself. Can you guys see that?
We can see it, but it's a little small. Are you able to go into presenter mode? If not, you're good to go.
Okay. Don't think
Where you can just increase the size, but if not, you're good to go.
I'll do that. Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm sorry. I really increased, didn't I? Okay, let's see if that helps. No, that made it smaller, didn't it? Sorry. Okay, we'll stay right there. So basically, I won't go through all of this, but as y'all guys can see, I've been in this industry for 30 years. So I have a general education as well as now I did complete my trichology certificate as well, which is the study of the hair and the study of scientific hair and scalp. So all of this goes together for me, and I've actually worked for some other companies, but I do work for House of Cheatham. So I've been an educator in the manufacturing side, an educator for the actual companies with hair shows. A little bit about myself. I'm just real simple, loving wife, proud mother too, and deeply committed to my clients. Nothing brings me more joy than helping them feel confident in solving their hair care concerns with compassion and expertise. And that's where the science come in hand with what I do. Taking my cosmetology to trichology, it takes me to a deeper level of understanding. And also by working with the chemist, not only do I understand why, how to style someone's hair, now I understand why I truly, truly use the products to make their situation better. How I made it to where I am, you guys, honestly, prayer and perseverance, because I actually work 2 jobs. I'm a teen mom. I've recently just joined the AKA Sorority Incorporated. I just won a scholarship to further my science education from the Society of Cosmetic Chemists. No, I've received that award November the 13th. And actually, I'll just pray and perseverance. And it goes back to what Miriam said, networking and building upon the relationships that I've made, and just also giving flowers back to those who helped me, including my family, not letting others distract my vision, believing in myself, building good relationships, and of course, like I said, helping others. And it's kind of like paying it forward. That is so real. How can you help someone else while you're also helping yourself? So at House of Cheatham, I'm gonna be honest, since I've done did this slide, my title probably have changed a little bit. I kind of do more education internally. Sometimes I do education externally. But the main thing is to evaluate products, text and evaluate the product. Because I'm gonna be honest, when the chemist put together a formulation for a product, you guys, it's not always the perception of the consumer. So my job is to make sure that consumer gets what they want, and I'm able to explain it to them in layman terms, if you guys understand that. So if someone, if I test a product, for example, and it doesn't have enough shine when I use it on the actual consumer's hair, then I would then I would ask them, do they see it? I'd love to involve the consumers, because there's nothing better than being able to give real raw data. I then take that back to the chemist team and really the chemist team and the actual marketing team, and say, hey, we need to adjust this because it did or did not perform. I love that our entire R&D team are women who look like us, and we work diligently to create great products, and consumers can enjoy it. And we also take their feedback. So there's times that I'll sit in on focus groups and different meetings. But I will open it up because I really like to spend more time with answering questions. Because I know a lot of people like to know, how do I get a role like I have, which is not is unique. It doesn't sit out there like specifically a chemist or a formulating chemist. But to think about it, you guys, it all ties in, because you have so many consumers trying to make their own products. And God, Dr. Winfield, you just hit it dead on the spot. Everything we use is a chemical. So when I am in the salon talking to clients and they're, oh, I just wanted to be natural. I just want to be natural. Well, I'm the person in the forefront who have to answer those questions, because the chemists don't come out and answer those questions when I'm doing somebody's hair. So basically, I use every skill set that I have to deliver on what I do in the salon, believe it or not. And that's really it about me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mika. Now, let me tell you all something. I knew she was going to want to open it up for questions, because she is a people's person, true and true. So let's clock it for Mika. She's doing a little bit of everything, right? Show a little love in the chat. And my takeaway from Mika is, you too can be a lifelong learner. No matter how busy you are, create the life that you desire. Because, as we heard from Mika, just from a few of her titles, she's a wife, she's a mom, she's a friend, she's a leader, as you can see, she's a presenter, she's a tester, she's an instructor, lifelong learner. She is also a hairstylist, master cosmetologist, and she just joined Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Who has time to do all that? You can have time to do all of that too. Just work at creating the life that you desire. So we're going to move right along into our next segment, which is really cool. We are going to go into our Q&A session. So that you all can learn a little bit more from our participants. But before we go into that, I'm having a few technical issues. I'm going to speak on eSpelman really quickly, or not. I don't know what's going on with my slides. But before we do that, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to ask, for the sake of time, Dr. Ingram, if you can help out, as well as all of the presenters. I'm going to unmute everyone while I get my slideshow together. Do we have any questions for our panelists at the moment? Chanel King, go right ahead. Let's see. Okay, ask to unmute. And I'm gonna let you be the first and only person to ask a question right now. I got my questions together. Chanel, go ahead. You have the floor. Let's try one more time. Okay, if not, hold that question. Hold that question. We're gonna go ahead and go into the panel Q&A really quickly. So again, to keep the energy going, let's get some hand claps for our presenters for sharing a little bit about themselves, a little insight. We want to keep the energy going. Yes, it's dark outside, but we're still here. We're still here. Okay, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. So now let's transition to the panel discussion. This inspiring panel features adult learners from the eSpelman Cosmetic Science Certificate Program, a pioneering initiative that supports individuals seeking to advance or transition into careers in beauty and personal care in the personal care industry. Each panelist has completed the rigorous Cosmetic Science Laboratory Intensive, gaining hands-on experience in formulation, ingredient science, and product testing. Working across key sectors of the industry, from product development and regulatory safety to marketing and consumer education. Our panelists represent the power of lifelong learning, career reinvention, and the critical role of continuing education in shaping the future of beauty. Listen how their journey through eSpelman equipped them to lead with confidence, innovate with purpose, and challenge industry norms with both scientific knowledge and cultural insight. To kick things off, I'd like to ask India, what inspired you to pursue the eSpelman Cosmetic Science Certificate? And I'm going to have all of my panelists go ahead and unmute. Let's make sure you're good to go.
Okay.
India?
I pursued the eSpelman Cosmetic Certificate Program. It came to me during a season where I was battling imposter syndrome, and I was also processing the loss of my mother. Her passing kind of shook my identity to where it caused me to question what my place in the beauty industry and the STEM world, even though I had already built a strong career in R&D and quality at Bronner Brothers. Enrolling in eSpelman became a part of my healing and rebuilt my purpose. The program gave me structure, community, and purpose at the time where I needed the most. I needed all three. With Dr. Winfield's guidance and encouragement reminded me not only of my capability, but of me belonging specifically in the space of Black women leading in STEM. eSpelman helped me reclaim my confidence, reconnect my passion for cosmetic science, and recognize that I wasn't just participating in the industry, I had earned my seat in it. This program reaffirmed that I am exactly where I am supposed to be, contributing as a Black STEMist and live both experience and technical expertise. With the help of eSpelman Cosmetic Science program, I was able to align my education and my professional experience, and I will be starting a STEM doctoral program next fall.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's a
you.
huge step. Hand clap, India. Thank you for sharing your personal story with us as well. Miriam, can you describe your current role in the industry and how your training helped you to get there?
So funny you mentioned that. So my last class at Spelman was a regulatory and toxicology class, and I initially didn't even really want to take it, but I ended up taking it, and I was just like, let me just like start applying to these jobs and kind of seeing like where I ended up falling. And the last question, or like the last interview question, was a test, and it was exactly my like cosmetic science project. Like it was spot the risk or spot the risky claims, and it was just like divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. Just, oh my gosh, how did this fall in my lap completely? But to answer that question, I mainly deal with regulatory safety, but my role involves understanding the principles of formulation. So the cosmetic science program really helped me with filling in those gaps. And then a bit of my research background for being in biochem and also being working in the field prior to gives me the understanding of being able to scale up and why certain ingredients are used in a large scale as well. But yeah.
Thank you. So that is a perfect segue to our next topic. Mika, what was the most surprising or empowering part of returning to the classroom as an adult learner?
Okay, a lot of people probably want to hear this because I do run a tight ship, but you guys know, my 19-year-old now, he was 18. He was like, "You always going to school." My husband probably feel that way too. But when I went to my first New York Suppliers Day, Dr. Ali Saeed, he is the founder and CEO of Avalon. And for some of you guys who don't know, he is the chemist behind Affirm. It's his professional line, and his retail line is As I Am. And when I went to my first class there, this was not last year, but year before last, he was, you know, how someone to come to sit down with you and they start saying, "Excuse me," so you can kind of scoot down. And I turned around and he was introducing himself, and I had like a kitty moment, like, no, worked for you 30 years ago. And I had this little moment. So he and his wife were just like, okay, and she's like, she's real grown, but she really having a kitty moment. But to be in a class with someone as such, like, he is a pioneer. He actually was behind Optimum. He goes all the way back to Revlon. He is a true pioneer with African American hair care products. And we all know that they've been around, so they're great. Oh my God, just to sit there, that let me know that, one, that I was doing what I was supposed to do, and two, to be sitting next to someone that I admired for 30 years. I've been using his products for 30 years, you guys. Let me know that you're never too old to learn. And so, because he's not quite old enough to be my father, but he definitely a big brother. But he and his wife actually was in the class, and that let me know that, hey, it never stops. Not in this industry. So it doesn't matter what angle you're in, what part you're in. I don't care if it's marketing, chemists, and science. It never stops. Because guess what? You lovely scientists are always trying to come up with something else. So we appreciate that because it gets better and better and better.
Thank you, Mika. We appreciate you sharing your testimony about your journey thus far. It hasn't ended and it will never end. As Mika stated, she's a lifelong learner. Now, I am cracking up because Dolores in the chat has figured out how to add a clock it emoji.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, to Dolores. Okay, so we are almost at 8 o'clock, but if you want to stick around for these nuggets for about another 15 to 30 minutes, let me see you put yes in the chat. Let's just see who's willing to stick around and gain this knowledge. Anyone? Anyone willing? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're gonna keep this party going. We promise we won't hold you too long. India, how did the lab intensive, my apologies. How did the lab intensive experience deepen your understanding of cosmetic formulation and product development?
The lab intense, it was very, very fun and it was very intense. It was knowledge overload. But the lab intense helped validate and expand everything I had already been doing on like on a daily basis. I was able to connect the why and the how and gain deeper knowledge on clarity and ingredients. I was able to question vendors confidently. Like a lot of things that they would say, you would either have to believe them or try to ask for the paperwork. So now I can go ask them for the dowser or go into detail about every ingredient and question them about what they're selling us and trying to give us to put in our formulas now. So even though I had already worked hands-on with formulas, the experience sharpened my technical skills and improved my ability to troubleshoot and strengthen my confidence in leading cross-functional conversations with marketing, compliance, and operations.
Understood. So, although it may have been a little challenging in the beginning, she figured out how to turn it around and make it work to her advantage. Thank you so much. So, Miriam, this is for you. What advice would you give to others who are considering a mid-career shift into the beauty and personal care industry?
Well, number one, you can take anything from any role. I know sometimes whatever we're in before we think like it's not the same, so like they're not gonna see it as important, but like you never know. So like my GMP knowledge from the lab is always transferable because it is the same process that they use in cosmetics as well. Um, I was tasked when I was at my pharmaceutical company to look at batch records. And at the time, it seemed like something I really didn't want to do, but understanding the importance of accuracy and accuracy and like perfect documentation is really important to every role that we are in at this point in time now. Also, the importance of like ERG and networking groups. And I saw somebody ask if you needed to be have their certificate to be in affinity groups. The answer is no. You can always join those groups, no matter where you're at, and just like understand it or getting to reach out to people within the field and learn like the things like Mika was talking about, being able to apply for the SEC scholarships, which I also received as well at one point in time, but also like taking roles like ERG groups and like writing newsletters or sending out emails. These are things that you're going to need in the future as well. So just reaching out to your peers, networking, mentorship, like those are the things that are very important, but also building up your skills and knowing how to market yourself for every role as well.
Perfect, perfect. So this next question is also for you, Miriam. As someone trained in both theory and hands-on lab science, how do you advocate for safer, more inclusive, or more innovative products?
Okay. So, within like depends on what part of the process they are asking us those questions. I try to advocate for equity in shades and safe formulations when we're reached out about a product concept. And like my goal is ensuring that brands are trusted by consumers. So making sure that what you have in the formula makes sense and will perform well for other people, but also making sure that it's safe for people as well.
Thank you so much. So we are going to shift back over to the top of my screen. Mika, how can the industry better support non-traditional students and adult learners entering the cosmetic science field?
Um, For me, I would like to share just what we're doing now, getting the information out more and communicating how this industry has expanded the way that it has. And I think eSpelman and the Spelman, Dr. Winfield, are doing an excellent job of doing that. And I talk about it all the time. I actually have someone that has logged in who will be joining the program because as a lifelong non-traditional student and also having um without saying my age, but I don't think I'm old, but having some level of age to myself, being a seasoned woman, being afraid, the not being afraid. And let me tell you, yes, organic chemistry was hard. I want to try.
Mhm.
But when I tell you, my professors pretty much held my hand because I was complaining and crying in my own way the whole time, but they assured me that I can make it through this. And I did. And all the classes were phenomenal, you guys. And I do not, I only had a foundation of chemistry, but a willingness to learn. So some of these things were to any of you all who just want to expand, to not be afraid. So yes, some of this stuff was very new to me. It was only introduced to me once I got in this program. And I would say really just communicating and going for what you know. Don't be scared to try. Go back to Miriam. Don't try be scared to try new things because that's what I did. And I utilized my career. I took my chemist at work and I would go there and say, hey, you know y'all my unpaid tutors. So I would go get all the help and ask all the questions I could. So hey, y'all, it can be done.
It
And
can be done.
definitely, I'm a perk up Swim. There are some other people out there, but you got to come here. You got to come here.
Listen, one of our biggest advocates. Thank you so much for sharing that. Key takeaway is tough, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Okay, so the next question, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the squares. My bottom left, India. What inspired you to create and write Hattie the Hair Chemist and Black to the Lab books?
Well, first, I love kids. I love working with kids and educating them. So I wrote Hattie the Hair Chemist because I wanted to create a fun, interactive way to educate little Black girls in the way that they see themselves reflected in STEM and beauty industry. Growing up, I was raised in subculture in Roanoke, Virginia, so I really didn't see that many characters in a book that actually looked like me or exploring in actual labs, science, or like product creativity. Through Hattie, I wanted to expose cosmetic science and show young readers that the science behind the beauty is creative, exciting, and accessible. It's also a tribute to my mother who influenced and shaped me and much of my confidence and creativity. The book allows me to merge my passion for education, beauty, and representation in a way that reaches the next generation. With self-confidence, you can become whoever you want to be, whoever you dream of being, and don't ever let anyone stop you from achieving it. So that's the message that I want, that I have Hattie spreading to everyone, that you can be whoever you desire to be.
Absolutely. We love it. We love it. So you hear that, audience. You can be a chemist, you can be a scientist, and you can be an author. Don't let anyone limit your talents. Thank you so much, India. Okay, so before we move to the audience questions, Mika,
Yes.
let's touch on why you think it is important that adult learners, especially people of color, are visible in conversations about beauty innovation and product development.
I think it's important because we need to just love on each other. And that's just really showing support. Again, I cannot tell you guys how much it is to communicate and network and do those things because it's been 2 years for me now. And let me tell you, I was able to go on the campus, y'all, for a week. I hadn't walked the campus in 30 years with a book bag, with a book bag, with a book bag. So it was definitely a fun experience. But I have been to Chicago because of that program and joined with some other scientists. I have now been to New York twice for Suppliers Day and hope to be doing connecting with that. Um, y'all can just say I'm overwhelmed. It's all overwhelming. And just the beautiful people that how smart the chemists are. And I say young ladies because some of the ladies that I meet honestly, or I can be their mom, but you guys are so smart and amazing. And to just be in the room, from where I come from, non-traditional, I just can't express that enough to you guys, that that's the importance of being together and supporting each other and uplifting each other, and it can happen, and I am a testament of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What a way to end our panel discussion. Again, if you learned anything, did you gain any knowledge tonight? Let me see a little yes in the audience or in the chat, or a heart flying through the Zoom screen. And let's show this panel that we appreciate their time tonight away from their families, away from their work, and away from their dinner, just to share with you all tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now that we've explored the day in the life of a cosmetic science learner, I'd like to open the floor up to questions from the audience. We shall try this again. If you can unmute yourself, Taylor, your hand is raised. I see you. Go ahead. You have the floor. And after Taylor, we have Rachel Green.
Hello, my name is Taylor Sullivan. My question is for Miriam. So I also come from a pharma background, and so I've done the manufacturing and R&D in the biopharmaceutical field. So I guess with your transition into cosmetic science, what affinity group has been the most impactful in your career, and how?
Hmm. It would have to, well, I guess Spelman does not count as one, but I would say it's a combo between Spelman and the NYSCC. So Spelman gave me the edge of just like learning the cosmetic science aspect of things, just because you have the science background, but it's just getting that formulation background that's a little different. And then just being able to have hands-on experience was really helpful. And then NYSCC for the fact of like just getting in the room for like as Mika was speaking about the suppliers days and like reaching out and meeting other people in the field, because like a lot of people who are in those positions at the NYSCC are also at other companies as well. So just getting your face and name out there, because it is such a small industry.
Thank you so much. Great question. Next up, really quickly, we have Rachel Green. You have the floor. We can't hear you yet. There you
There we
go.
go. Okay. Okay, yes. Hi, my name is Rachel and I'm a high school senior. My question is for Miss India Butts. I was wondering, how do you like step out of or kind of toggle between cosmetic chemistry and like being a chemist and then kind of being like an entrepreneur and an author with the children's books that you write?
So I kind of balance it. Like Monday, I work Monday through Thursday. So Monday through Thursday, I strictly focus on my job. And then on the weekends is where I kind of turn like hobbies into like, I guess, a business sort of. So it's like I'm always trying to improve myself. And that was one of the things like my mom had taught me how to do. Like she taught me how to kind of multitask, and, you can work a profession and then, still have a business on the side. But for the most part, I try to align everything properly, so that way I'll be able to kind of blend everything together with my passions.
Great question. Thank you for joining us this evening. The next question is for Mika Smith. It's in the Q&A from Chanel King. I would like to know what trichology program you attended.
I did Dr. Carrie Williams out of California. I did the online version. I don't know if you're in Georgia, but I don't know the school, if you want to get my information later. And I can be a little more specific, but I, of course, have a schedule, so I had to do it that way. But if you want a little more hands-on, there are some other choices.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Please hold off on typing in the chat. I'm gonna have our panelists, if you would like to share any of your contact information, go ahead and drop that in the chat for now. Next up, we have Kimberly Hobbs. Following Kimberly, it'll be Mia. You have the floor, Kimberly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to know what are the next coming up dates for you to classes to start, and what is the process and because I didn't look that much into it and I actually forgot about it, but I did receive the email and that's what made me think, okay, I need to get on. Like, what is the process again in the program? What is the pricing of it? Do I have to be in class? Can I just do everything online? Do I have to show up on campus?
My favorite question of the night. I'm going to do a quick, brief overview after the Q&A session, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Mia, I think I went, or was it Kayla? We'll go with Mia for now. Pick her.
Hey. So I have a student who is currently navigating this journey for cosmetic chemistry. And I think at the time when we initially started looking at it, eSpelman was just beginning, their cosmetic chemistry course. And I think I too saw where now it's a full-blown program, I guess if you could say that. So if they're trying to pivot into Spelman's program, what makes it, I guess, what sets it aside from other cosmetic chemistry programs? I know there aren't many, but what makes it different?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. So is Dr. Winfield still on? If you are, please unmute yourself. Mia, we have two different programs here at Spelman. We have the on-campus, which is a full degree program. You have to go through the full process of being accepted into the Spelman degree program. And then we have the fully 100% online certificate program that only requires 4 courses to complete that certificate. Each course is 8 weeks long. I'll go over that during my presentation, but Dr. Winfield, I'll let her answer that for you.
Yes, I would say so. The certificate, as you've heard here, is most of our students who are currently enrolled are using it to complement their current roles or their current degrees, or they are self-taught entrepreneurs and they want a little bit more information in terms of the science behind what they're doing at home. And so in terms of the programs, in terms of the undergraduate programs, there are only 2 at traditional undergraduate institutions. So we have one at Spelman, and then there's one at the University of Toledo in their pharmacy program. And the others are at the graduate level, so they're master's degrees programs.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Winfield.
LaChun,
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, Dr. Winfield is awesome. And I know y'all probably feel like I can't tell y'all, being non-traditional, and just to let you know why this program, whether is really, I'm too old to go back to school, so I wouldn't do the program. Certificate, like you said, is building on my career. But I've heard so many people, because the sisterhood one that Spelman all has, and I've heard so many people, because I have friends that are chemists, and I work with several different, the bond that they provide, and just what I've gotten as an eSpelman, I can only imagine if for those who have the opportunity to do the program. So that's what I would say is a little bit different than, nothing against the other school, because I don't know anything about it. So, and yes, I'm a pump up eSpelman, but I don't know anything to compare, but I'm comparing what people have said, and hands down, the sisterhood and the relationships and people that I've bonded with from different companies, hands down, make this program awesome.
We're taking me on the road. Thank you.
Right. You're receiving an application in the mail tonight. So we are going to transition back to the presentation really quickly, and then we'll come back to the Q&A. Let me pull this up for you. This may answer some of the questions that we have currently. Let's see. All right, here we go. So we're going to run through this really quickly, and then we'll get back to the Q&A. Thank you so much for staying tonight. But again, You all are receiving the inside scoop from our panelists, from our program developer, and our AVP. So before we wrap up for the night, I would like to share with our audience members how you may take advantage of earning a cosmetic science certificate here at eSpelman. eSpelman offers working adults the opportunity to learn in an environment designed for men, women, and diverse learners. Yes, you heard that right. Men, women, and diverse learners. The eSpelman side of the house, we welcome everyone. We are 100% online, and you can participate from anywhere in the U.S. Each certificate program is designed to teach skills and educate students through a perspective that incorporates the Spelman magic, a first-rate, high-touch education. I'm also proud to share, as we mentioned earlier, that Spelman College also offers both a degree and certificate in cosmetic science, whichever best suits your lifestyle. Okay, so I'm sorry. Let me go back. There we go. At eSpelman, applying is both free and simple. That's right, the application is free. All you have to do is complete it. The only admission requirement is a high school diploma or equivalent. The Cosmetic Science Certificate requires participants to begin the program in January during the Term 1 cohort only. Courses run 8 weeks. The Cosmetic Science program consists of 4 courses, 2 required courses and 2 electives. So how does one apply? If you haven't applied quite yet, I'll quickly walk you through the simple steps to get started. Complete a free application on our website. Once submitted, you'll receive a decision letter via email within 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes 1 week. If accepted, you'll receive an email prompting you to confirm and reply to your offer letter, and a payment option is offered. Upon successfully completing your courses, learners receive an official digital certificate. At this point, learners will have the option to select a payment plan option on the eSpelman admission form. Depending on the date, learners may pay $1,800 for one course at a time at the start of each term, or break up the cost by taking advantage of our payment plan. This screen, if you can, you will want to go ahead and screenshot. This is where you'll find our application deadline, our contact information, and how to reach a staff member. And for your convenience, I've entered our email address in the chat. You can send any and every question that you have there. If you would like to speak with someone, you can call us at 404-270-5026. The email address is espelman@spelman.edu. And you can complete your application online. Just simply type in spelman.edu/eSpelman, and you'll find all kind of information there. You can, navigate through the site, click on Cosmetic Science. Dr. Winfield has uploaded a beautiful and informative video for you so you can learn a little bit more, and go ahead and click on that application. The application period is already open and it closes January 16 of 2026. If you run into any technical issues, STS is short for Spelman Technology Services. You can give them a call at 404-270-5400 between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. And so that concludes the segment on eSpelman. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen and we'll jump back into the questions. For those of you that need to go ahead and head out for the night, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you for joining us. Again, you can email us at espelman@spelman.edu. For those of you that can join, we'll stay on to 8:30. It's 8:23 here on the East Coast, and we will answer a few more questions until we reach 8:30. So the next person that has a hand raised is Kimberly Hobbs. You have the floor.
I'm sorry. I don't even know how my hand is still up right there. I don't. I'm gonna take it down. I'm sorry. I didn't remove it from early. I'm sorry.
That's
Thank you.
okay. You're still here. Thank you. Next up is, I think it's Junie Francois. I'm not going to butcher your last name. You have the floor.
That's okay. Thank you. The last name is Chirai. But my question was, has anyone on the panel created a cosmetic product, and how can this course aid in doing that or in this endeavor?
I guess I can answer that question. Yes, I have created many products for different companies. And I would say the cosmetic science certificate program will kind of open your eyes up. Like you'll have a lab that you can do at home. You can build like a custom lab in your living room or wherever you want to put it at. And then it teaches you like the foundation of how to study ingredients, and you will want to know what ingredients you're putting in your formula. You will want to work on like the recommended usage level and finding out what's compatible with each other. So all of those things that you'll learn in the actual program, but it's up to you to apply everything that you learn and continue to learn, because it's everything is always different. Like when you work with cosmetics, there's like with other companies, there's stock formulas where everything is all the same. The colors just change. In cosmetics, there's a different formula for everything.
I would like to add
Thank you.
that I learned how to, well, I learned in lab, I learned how to make a lotion and lipstick, but I would say understand your niche, because what I've learned, there's different type of chemists, regulatory chemists, they don't make products at the job. A lot of chemists do make things on their own, but I'm able, because I do work with the chemists, I do go in the lab and use the skills that I took through eSpelman. And I actually, what they call the bench, I actually work with the chemist, and I'm kind of chemist tech. I don't want to do it, but y'all, it's tedious. If you don't like to cook, yeah. I don't know if it'll be for, I don't know if it'll be for you, but I use my skills and I actually go in and I now work on the bench with the chemist, again, to understand the ingredients better.
Thank you, ladies. So we are going to go to the next participant. I don't have my glasses on. I think it's Arnita or Armita. I cannot. Amita. Is that an R or a M? Miss Sims.
It's Arnita.
Arnita. Okay. You have the floor.
So I actually have two questions. I'm actually in class right now. So I am in an esthetician program. And so I'm trying to finish that out and get licensed to be a licensed esthetician. And so I actually have two questions. So my first question is, I want to further that education and that knowledge as far as, you know, what goes into products and ingredients as far as skincare and that type of thing. And I was accepted into the eSpelman program maybe like a year ago, maybe 2023. And so my first question is, how long is the acceptance good for? The only reason why I wasn't able to start it was because financially, I'm also looking for financial aid for the program. And I think at the time, financial aid wasn't offered. But how long is the program or an acceptance good for? And then what is a resource for funding for the program?
Great question. Because it was so long ago, you will need to go ahead and reapply. The application is still free. Unfortunately, for the certificate side, we do not offer financial aid. So if you are looking for funding, you would have to go out and look for some outside funding, scholarships, and things of that nature. We'll take a check. We also take card payments, but yeah, the application is still free. If you need to start with the first course, please go ahead and just complete your application as you're working on your funding, because you can only begin in January for the first session.
Okay. And then, so if I don't take the sessions consecutively, like if I have a month or two in between, or like some time in between, like, does that affect the completion date or the completion of the program, or is that even a thing?
Yes, it is a thing. We do have certain dates that we offer particular courses. You can, skip a term or two. Just send us an email at espelman@spelman.edu, and we'll
Okay.
be able to give you the full schedule and answer any questions. We will have a full information session that's coming up soon.
Okay.
So continue to check your emails. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have two more questions we're going to answer before we head out tonight. We have Kayla Seals, and then after Kayla, we're going to end with Jillian. Kayla, you have the floor.
Hi, good evening, panelists. Thank you all for being here. My question is, I'm currently a chemical engineer and I was kind of looking at roles in the cosmetic industry, and I was finding that a lot were in New Jersey and New York. So I was just wondering if that's kind of where y'all have centered your careers around, or how the mobility looks, what mobility looks like in the cosmetic fields.
I guess I can kind of answer, but everybody else can as well too. I'm in Jersey now, well, Jersey City specifically. So a lot of them are on the East Coast, but there are some companies on the West Coast. I have seen a couple pop up in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, not so much the Midwest. And then Europe is a really big place for a lot of cosmetic science jobs. But India and Mika, correct me if I'm wrong.
I would say a lot of the jobs are in like New York, New Jersey area, but it's also very popular in the Florida area, California, and Atlanta also. But it's kind of like you have to watch out for it whenever it comes available.
That goes back to the networking, you guys. A lot of the career options are remote or hybrid. And in you all's role, there, because I do have to be on site with what I do with the actual company, but there are a lot of traveling. So if you're open to that, I would say be open to that, because if you want to work for bigger companies, there are a lot of smaller companies that you may not know about because you may be looking up for the career somewhere else and you don't have the proper name of the company. So that's where that networking comes into hand. And also being on this situation tonight will help, because you'll have our information and we'll hear this information while we're in our areas at our job.
I was going to say, I wish I knew more about third-party manufacturers when I was looking for jobs before too. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we have reached our limit for tonight. We've gone over, but this is telling me several things. One, we need to host another one. Two, we need to build some type of social community. It sounds like we need like a group meet or something for cosmetic scientists of color, or maybe to everyone. But yes, thank you all so much. This has been a wonderful informational this stem for the Black STEMinist science event that was, I think, a few days in April or May. And once I heard the story of these ladies, I just knew we had to bring it to you virtually so that more people can hear their stories, hear this information, and then know that it too is possible for you. So because we've come to the end, we would like to thank our audience members for such great engagement tonight. I love participation. The sun is down. It was snowing yesterday, and you all are still here. And we would like to thank you for engaging with our wonderful presenters. They're all busy ladies. And boss babes in their own right. So I pass along a really big virtual hug from all of us here at eSpelman and Spelman College for dedicating this time tonight out of their busy schedules, their mothers, their sisters, their friends, they're most importantly employed. So we want to give them back some time tonight. We thank you all dearly. Keep an eye out for some updates from eSpelman. You'll be on our email list now, and we'll see what we can do about a virtual community for cosmetic science. Everyone have a good night. This recording has been recorded, and it will go out to everyone. Thank you again. Show some love to our presenters and our participants tonight. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. And have a good night to you all across the United States.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.